Here's a thing. It's a thing called Bill Norrie. Yeah. You would think in the beginning they're mates, but they're not. Bill is Bill and John, and John is there to offer good advice and then do exactly as he's told. Yeah, that's John. Then Bill is well, he's the boss, and Bill is apparently at the beginning of the song bragging about his conquests. So you see that one over there. She's lovely, isn't she? My first love. You must go to her, he says to John. You got to go to her. Go to her with these two gifts of a single glove and a ring. Tell her that she's got to come and meet me in the woods, and she mustn't tell a soul. And immediately the good advice kicks in for John, and he says, "No, you don't really want to do that." "Yes, I do." "All right." And he goes and he does it. Beats on her door. She opens the door. Here's a gift. It's from Bill. There's a single glove and a ring. You've got to go and meet him in the woods, and you mustn't tell a soul. And he's very surprised at her reaction, which is of delight. It's supposed to be, I didn't want to do this because I'm not going to break up any marriages. She's very obviously married. She's delighted. So he leaves it, and except there's one thing is wrong, and that is that standing behind the door is her husband, unbeknownst to both of them. He hears the entire exchange, and he's not delighted. So this is where the story really starts. Young Bill Norrie's a fine lad, and he lives like the wind. Eyes shine like the silver or golden morning sun. My friend John and dear John, do you see what I see? Yonder stand the first woman that ever loved me. And here is a glove lady lined with silver grey. Take it to her and tell her to come to her young Billy. And here is a ring, John, all gold but the stone. Take it to her and tell her to ask the leave of none. So John ran down to the high house. He rang low at the ring. Who was there but this woman to let young Johnny in? And here is a glove lady lined with silver grey. Bids you come to Greenwood to meet your young Billy. And here is a ring, lady, all gold but the stone. bids you come to Greenwood and ask the leave of none. The husband stood in the shadow, an angry man was he. I never knew the man lived, my love loved more than me. So he's gone down to her room, he dressed in her array. Like some woman he's gone down to find this young Billy. Young Billy sat in the greenwood, he whistled and he sang. Yonder come the woman that I have loved so long. For Billy ran down and down there to meet her where she came. Oh, the sight that he saw, his heart grew still as stone. For Billy ran down and down there to help her from the horse. Oh, and oh, he cries out, woman was never so gross. The husband, he had a long knife, it hung down by his knee. He took the head of young Billy and off his fair body. And he's gone home and home there, down into his hall. Tossed Billy's head to her, crying, lady, catch the ball. And she's taken up the head there, she kissed it cheek and chin. I love better this boy than all my kith and kin. And she's taken up the head there, she hugged it to her womb. Once I was full of this boy as the plum is of the stone. For when I was in my dad's house in my virginity, a young man come to my room and we got young Billy. And I bore him in my room in secrecy and shame. I loved him in the greenwood, all out in wind and rain. And I will kiss his sweet head, I will kiss his chin. I will vow and stay true, and I'll ne'er kiss man again. And up and spoke the husband, and a sad man was he. If I had known he was your son, he would not have been killed by me. If I had known he was your son, he would not have been killed by me. Now, so I was singing The Foggy Dew. Bloody hell is the name of the man who sang it? Damn it, what's his name? It was a bloke from Norfolk who sang this. Says he heard it at a fair. It's an interesting bloke. What is his sort of name? He was very much an army bloke. He joined the army just as a dog soldier, and he actually rose through the ranks. He became an officer. He said he heard this and went home with the words and the tune. He couldn't remember the tune properly, so he put the words to the tune that you always hear. You know, when I was a bachelor, that one. And I'm not crazy about that tune. Mike used to sing it to that tune, but he could sing anything. It was wonderful. But I took a different tune. Singer called Harry Cox, who had fabulous melodies for all his songs, and he had a version of the Foggy Dew, which was nice. But I'd used one of his other tunes. It's allowed. Well, I think it is. Oh, when I was a bachelor, airy and young, I followed the weaving trade. All the harm that ever I done was in courting a fair young maid. I courted her in the summertime and all through the winter too. And the only thing I ever did wrong was keep her from the foggy dew. Well, I got that tired of living alone. I says to her one day, I've a nice little shack in my old cot which you can safely lay. You'll be all right in the summertime and all through the winter too. You'll be snug and warm and you'll take no harm all out of the foggy dew. Well, I don't think much to your old shack, 'cause I will only be with only your old cypress cat for to keep me company. There's crickets chirruping in the hearth, but whatever can they do when the night turns raw and the fire won't draw to keep me from the foggy dew? Now one night she come to my bedside when I lay fast asleep. She laid her head all on my breast and she started in to weep. She wept, she sighed, she well near died. She cries, what shall I do? So I lifted I lifted her ship right over her head to save her from the foggy dew. Now lie down there, you silly young girl, wipe away those tears. Then I hauled her shift up over her head and I wrapped it round her ears. We were all right in the summertime and all through the winter too. But oh damn it, what is the matter with me tonight? I held her tight that livelong night to keep her from the foggy dew. Oh, lie down there, you silly young girl, don't you be afraid. If you want to stay with me, you'll have to learn your trade. She learned all through the summertime and all through the winter too. And truth to tell, she learned that well. She saved us from the foggy dew. One night I lay there good as gold, and she starts into me, saying I've got a pain in below my back where no pain ought to be. I was all right in the summertime and all through the winter too, but I've taken some ill or a kind of a chill on account of the foggy dew. That night she started to moan and cry. Says I, what's up with you? Says she, I never should have been this way if it hadn't have been for you. I put my boots and my trousers on, I ran for my neighbour to do what we could do no good, and she died in the foggy dew. I'm a bachelor now and I live with my son, and we work at the weaving trade. Each time I look into his eyes, I think of the eyes of the fair young maid, reminding me of the summertime and of the winter too, and of the many times I rolled in her arms all over the foggy dew. You ladies and gentlemen, if you'll listen unto me, I'll sing you a song of the North Country. In a village near to Whitby town, a tailor he did dwell, and women, wine and company, he loved them right well. Now, at a dance one New Year's evening, the tailor did attend. I'm sure that he would never have gone if he had seen the end. This jolly little tailor, he will ne'er forget that night, for never yet was tailor seen in such a sorry plight. For he danced and he sang, he had whiskey many's the tot. This jolly little tailor was the merriest of the lot. To a lady he was dancing when the tailor he declared, if you'll lend me your petticoats, I'll dance like a maid. Now the tailor took his breeches off and the petticoats put on. The maid, the tailor's breeches, she quickly did adorn. The fiddler, he played to them a merry, merry tune, and she danced his money, watch and breeches clean out of the room. Oh, bring me my breeches back, the tailor loud did call. Oh, bring me my breeches back, my money, watch and all. All the company there assembled, with laughter loud they roar, as the little tailor's petticoats fell down upon the floor. O Lord, says the tailor, wherever thou may be, O Lord, says the tailor, take pity now on me. This jolly little tailor
didn't know what for to do, for his little shirt was far too short to cover or below, and it was then the fiddler played a tune for all that he was worth. The tune he played, the tailor was the famous Cock of the North. All the company there assembled, they loudly shouted no, as the tailor took his trilby hat to cover Uncle Joe. Now when at last the little tailor got out into the street, a bevy of fair damsels he chanced for to meet. All these women squealed with laughter when the tailor did appear, and they wished him Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now the jolly little tailor these ladies did address. Says he, it is not ladylike to laugh at man's distress. All these women to the tailor said, give us no more of that. If you call yourself a gentleman, why don't you raise your hat? Now in this village near to Whitby town, there's old men living yet. They'll tell you of the New Year's Eve they never will forget. Old women too will tell to you the dance they loved the best was the one where the tailor showed off his cuckoo's nest. Now the jolly little tailor from that day unto this, of women, wine and company, he gave them all a miss. At a dance the little tailor you never more did catch, since the woman stole his breeches and his money and his watch. Watch.
What's the oldest song? I've no idea. But I do think this one will qualify for being among the very oldest, if only because the pretty much identical story is the story of the birth of Hercules. King Willie has gone overseas and he's come back with an exceedingly foreign-looking wife, and her mother doesn't like this. His mother doesn't like this. Beg your pardon. His mum doesn't like this one tiny little bit, because she thinks and says that she should have more than just a hand in his choice of wife. Hasn't even been consulted, but she's very she's determined to put things right, which means she's going to kill her, putting it simply. But she has to be sneaky about it. So what she's done is made herself her friend, made herself the new wife's friend, so that she can get close to her and put on or close to her or nearby 4 things which will bind the spell that she then puts on her. And the spell that she then lays on her is that is the kind of spell that the girl isn't going to think there's anything wrong until it's way too late. She's going to put the spell on her that she will become pregnant, but she'll never give birth. Nice person. And indeed, that's what's happening. But the girl has a brain in her head and also a lot of guts. Willie must do exactly what he's told for this for her plan to work. Okay. The tune is a Breton tune, and it was the wonderful Ray Fisher's idea to put this tune to this story. Do people know Ray Fisher? She died a few years ago. She was a Scots singer, fabulous, wonderful singer. Okay, see what you think.
King Willie, he sailed over the raging foam. He wooed a wife and he brought her home. Wooed her for her long golden hair. His mother wrought her a mighty care. And a weary spell she is laid on earth. She'd be with child full long and many's the year, but a child she would never bear. And in her bower she lies in pain. King Willie at her bed head he do stand, as down his cheeks the salt and tears do run. King Willie back to his mother he did run. He's gone there as a begging son. Says my true love has this fine noble steed, the like of which you ne'er did see. At every part of this horse's mane there's hanging 50 silver bells and 10. There's hanging 50 bells and 10. This goodly gift shall be your own, if back to my own true love you'll turn again, that she might bear her baby son. Of her child she will never lie to be, nor from sickness will she e'er be free. But she will die and she will turn to clay. You will wed with another maid. And sighing says this weary man, as back to his own true love he's gone again. I wish my life was at an end. King Willie back to his mother he did run. He's gone there as a begging son. Says my true love has this fine golden girdle, set with jewels all about the middle. At every part of this girdle's hem there's hanging 50 silver bells and 10. There's hanging 50 bells and 10. This goodly gift shall be your own, if back to my own true love you'll turn again, that she might bear her baby son. Of her child she will never lie to be, nor from sickness will she e'er be free. She will die and she will turn to clay. You will wed with another maid. And sighing says this weary man, as back to his own true love he's gone again. I wish my life was at an end. and spoke his noble queen, and she has told King Willie of a plan how she might bear her baby son. She says, you must go get you down to the marketplace. You must buy you a loaf of wax. You must shape it as a babe who needs the nurse, and you must make 2 eyes of glass. And call your mother to a christening day, and you must stand there close as you can be, that you might hear what she do say. King Willie, he has done him down to the marketplace. He has bought him a loaf of wax. He has shaped it as a babe who needs a nurse, and he has made 2 eyes of glass. He asked his mother to the christening day, and he did stand there close as he could be, and he did hear what she did say. How she stormed and how she swore. She spied the babe where no babe could be before. Spied the babe where none could be before. And she says, who was it who undid the 9 witch knots woven in amongst this lady's locks? Who was it who took out the combs of care, braided in amongst this lady's hair? And who was it slew the master kid that ran and slept all beneath this lady's bed? Ran and slept all beneath her bed. And who was it unlaced her left shoe? And who was it who has let her lighter be, that she might bear her baby boy? And it was Willie who undid the 9 witch knots woven in amongst this lady's locks. And it was Willie who took out the combs of care, braided in amongst this lady's hair. And it was Willie the master kid did slay, and it was Willie who unlaced her left foot shoe, and he has let her lighter be. And she has born her a baby son, and great are the blessing that be them upon, great are the blessing them upon.
Sing a couple of gypsy songs. Some of gypsy melodies are very odd, very beautiful. This is a version of the song Geordie. They call it Georgie, and there's 2 brothers called Levy and Jasper Smith. Every time I hear the recordings of these two blokes, I have this sort of wild imagining that they come in front of the microphone and they've got all the words there, and they just toss them all up in the air and then sing them as they come down. It just seems semi-improvised, but the melody's just wonderful. I think so anyway. I'll sing it for you. See what you think.
Once I had such a good little boy, a pretty boy, quick as any. He would run 5 miles miles in 1/2 an hour, a letter to pardon my Georgie. For what has Georgie done on Shooter's Hill? Was it stealing or murder of Henry? Oh, he stole 16 of the Lord Judge's deer, and we sold him down under the valley. Oh, saddle him up, cries my lily white breast. Oh, saddle me up, cries my pony. With bright guns in his hand and a sword at his side, would you spare me the life of my Georgie? And George is the father to 6 babes, love. There's a 7th one into my body, but it's willing to part with all I have got if you'll spare me the life of my Georgie. And George shall be hanged in the frames of gold. For the frames of gold you won't find many, but it's willing to part with all I have got if you'll spare me the life of my Georgie. And George is the father to 6 babes, love. There's a 7th one into my body, but it's willing to part with all I have got if you'll spare me the life of my Georgie. For what has Georgie done on Shooter's Hill? Was it stealing or murder of Henry? Oh, he stole 16 of the Lord Judge's deer, and we sold him down under the valley. Wish you were stood all in the grove, all in the grove, standing ready, with bright guns in your hand and a sword at your side. I'd fight you for the life of my Georgie. Once I had such a good little boy, a pretty boy, quick as any. He would run 5 miles in 1/2 an hour, a letter to pardon my Georgie.
Sing you another one of them. And not that unlike any other melody you're going to find in England. Just extraordinarily wonderful. This is from a woman called Phoebe Smith, who's she's no relation to the Jasper and Levy are from Kentish, and she's from Suffolk, which is the other side of the Thames estuary. Another world. Okay, it's a song called Young Morgan, and Young Morgan was a highwayman. He was actually beloved of people, unlike Dick Turpin, who was hated and who was horrible. But they loved Young Morgan, and it's difficult to see why, because he's certainly robbed from the rich, but there's not a scrap of evidence that he ever gave any of it away, let alone to the poor. But they loved him. Oh. Young Morgan he be caught at last, for trials he is laying. And isn't it a pity that young man should die? Out of this world is going, standing bold as John the Gaunt,
the world will soon admire to see such a tall and swaggering blade, all in my rich attire. Ah, such a tall and swaggering blade, all out for gold and plunder, with spirits cocked and courage bold, and a voice that's loud like thunder. After sweet meat there comes sour sauce, which sets my heart to weeping. For now, alas, I'm tried and cast. Out of this world I am going. As I come through the city gate, I heard some people talking. Young Morgan, he has confessed at last. His friends must follow after. I heard it through St. Giles's Pound, through Newgate and the city. Oh, isn't it a pity that young man should die? He rides so high and pretty. But why should I refuse to die, now here or ever after? The captain, he leads on the van, his friends must follow after.
Thanks very much.
There was this king sitting in his garden all alone, when his brother in his ear with a little bit of henbane stole his brother's crown and his money and his widow. But the dead king walked and got his son and said, "Hey, listen, kiddo, I've been killed and it's your duty to take revenge on Claudius. Kill him quick and clean and tell the nation what a fraud he is." The kid says, "Right, I'll do it, but I'll have to play crafty so that no one will suspect me. I'll kid on that I'm a dafty." So with all except Horatio, and he counts him as a friend, Hamlet, that's the kid, he kids on, he's round the bend, and because he isn't ready for obligatory killing, he tries to make the king think that he's tuppence off the shilling. Takes a rise out of Polonius, treats poor Ophelia vile, tells Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Denmark's a bleeding jail. Then a group of travelling actors like 784 arrive to do a special one-night gig in Elsinore. Hamlet, Hamlet, acting balmy. Hamlet, Hamlet, loves his mummy. Hamlet, Hamlet, hesitating, wonders if the ghosts are cheat, and that is why he's waiting. So Hamlet wrote a scene for the players to enact, so Horatio and him could watch to see if Claudius cracked. Now the play was called The Mousetrap, not the one that's running now, and sure enough the king walks out before the final bow. So Hamlet's got the proof that Claudius give his his dad the dose. The only problem being now that Claudius knows he knows. So Hamlet tells his mother her new husband's not a fit one. Uncle Claude puts out a contract with the English king as hitman. So when Hamlet killed Polonius, the concealed corpus delicti was the king's excuse to send him for an English hempen necktie with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to make quite sure he got there. But Hamlet jumped the boat and put the finger straight on that pair. When Laertes heard his dad had been stabbed through the arras, he came running back to Elsinore, to sweet Hotfoot from Paris, and Ophelia with her dad killed by the man she was to marry. After saying it with flowers she committed Harry-carry. Hamlet, Hamlet, no messing. Hamlet, Hamlet learned his lesson. Hamlet, Hamlet, Yorick's crust convinced him that men, good or bad, at last must come to dust. Then Laertes lost his place and was demanding retribution. The king says, keep your head and I'll provide you a solution. So he arranged a sword fight for the interested parties, with a blunted sword for Hamlet and a sharp sword for Laertes. To make double sure the old belt and braces line, he fixed a poisoned sword tip and a poisoned cup of wine. Well, the poisoned sword got Hamlet, but Laertes went and muffed it, 'cause he got stabbed himself and he confessed before he snuffed it. Then Hamlet's mummy drank the wine, and as her face turned blue, Hamlet said, I believe the king's a baddie through and through. Incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, he said, to be precise, and made up for hesitating once by killing Claudius twice, 'cause he stabbed him with the knife and forced the wine between his lips. He says the rest is silence. That was Hamlet had his chips. They fired a volley over him that shook the topmost rafter, then fought in brass, knee-deep in Danes, lived happy ever after. Hamlet, Hamlet, all that gory. Hamlet, Hamlet, end of story. Hamlet, Hamlet, I'm on my way. If you thought that was boring, you should read the bloody play. I should shut up fairly soon. Thank you ever so much. We'll do this. There were 7 yellow gypsies and all in a row. None of them lame nor lazy, oh. They sang so sweet and so complete that they stole the heart of a lady, oh. And they sang sweet and they sang shrill, fast her tears began to flow. She laid down her silken gown, her golden rings and all the show, and she plucked off all the high-heeled shoon, all made of the Spanish leather roll. And she wooed in the street in her bare feet to run away with the 7 yellow gypsies, oh. And she rode high and she rode low, and she rode it late and early, oh, until she come to the river clear. And oh, but she was weary, oh, says last night I rode by the river clear, when the servants all around me, oh, tonight I must go in my bare feet to run away with the 7 yellow gypsies, oh. And it was late last night when my lord came home, and his servants they stood ready, oh, How the one took his boots and the other took his horse. Part away was his own dear lady, oh, and when that he comes to the servant's door, he's inquiring for his lady, oh. How the one she sighed, the other one cried, and she's away with the 7 yellow gypsies, oh, for I met with a boy and a bonny, bonny boy. Strange the stories he told me, oh, how 7 yellow gypsies stood all in the line, all for the stealing away of a lady, oh. Go saddle to me a bonny, bonny mare, for the brown's not so speedy, oh, and I will ride for to see my bride, who's run away with the 7 yellow gypsies, oh. And he rode high and he rode low, and he rode it late and early, oh, until he come to the river clear, and it is there that he spied his lady, oh. What makes you leave all your house and your land, all your gold and your treasure for to go? What makes you leave your new wedded lord to run away with the 7 yellow gypsies? What care I for my house and my land? What care I for my treasure? Oh, what care I for my new wedded lord? For I'm away with the 7 yellow gypsies. Oh, last night you slept in a goose feather bed, with the sheets and the blankets so cozy. Oh, tonight you will go on the... Last night you slept in a goose feather bed, with the sheets and the blankets so cozy. Oh, tonight you will sleep in the cold barren shed, all alone with the 7 yellow gypsies. Oh, what care I for my goose feather bed, with the sheets and the blankets so cozy. Oh, what care I for my new wedded lord? For I'm away with the 7 yellow gypsies. Oh. There were 7 yellow gypsies and all in a row, none of them lame nor lazy, oh. There were 7 yellow gypsies were hanged in a line, oh, for the stealing away of a lady, oh. See this last one. My God. Yeah, this is a thing called The Devil and the Feathery Wife. Comes from a handwritten collection called Secret Songs of Silence. Great name. Okay, let's sing the song. And thank you very much.
This song is about true love. Someone can try and deny it to me afterwards, and I will not accept it. You see what I mean? Now there was an old couple lived over the hill, and a poor old fella, they say, he was okay. I'll stop it, you fool. Oh, there was an old farmer lived over the hill, and a poor old fella, they say, he was plagued by hunger and a scolding wife, the worst of good fortune had they. As he cut wood in the forest one day, between dark doom and despair, the devil himself, he jumped out of a bush and he stood before him there. Oh, what is the matter, the devil, he cries, you look so discontent. Haven't you got any money to buy your food or to pay your landlord's rent? What would you give me, the devil, he cries, if I should end your debate? And I gave you money and gear enough so you'd never more want for meat. I've nothing to give you, the old man cries, I've nothing right here to my hand. But if you will do what you say for me, then I'll be at your command. Right then, I'll make you a bargain, the devil, he cries, it's a bargain you just couldn't miss. You've got to bring me a beast at 7 years' end. I've got to say what it is. If that beast I name aright, you mark what I do tell. You've got to toddle along with me for to view the ovens of hell. So the old man trusted and prospered well, and it was all gained and spent, till he come to the end of 7 long years, sorely he did lament. Oh, what is the matter, his wife, she cries, you look so discontent. Sure you've got some silly young girl with child, making you sore lament. No, I made a bargain with the devil, he cries, it was a bargain I just couldn't miss. I've got to bring him a beast at 7 years' end, he's got to say what it is. If that beast he names aright, you mark what I do tell. I've got to toddle along with him for to view the ovens of hell. Ah, never you worry, his wife, she cries, for your cattle you keep or you feed. For the wit of a woman, it comes in handy at times in an hour of need. Go, fetch me the droppings from all of our chickens and spread 'em all over the floor. Stark naked I will strip myself and I'll roll in it over and o'er. Fetch me the basket of feathers, she cries, from the goose that we had for our tea, and I'll roll all over in them until never an inch be free. So she rolled in feathers and droppings from her head down to her navel. By Christ, he says, what an horrible sight, you look far worse than the devil. When the devil himself come in, he began for to steam and to hiss. By Christ, he says, what an awful sight, and I'm damned if I know what it is. Oh, he started to shake and he started to quake, saying, have you any more of these at home? Yes, he cries, I've got 7 more that in my forest do roam. If you've got 7 more of these beasts that in your forest do dwell, I'll be as good as my bargain and I'm off home, 'cause it's worse than the demons of hell. Thank you, good night. There were 7 yellow gypsies and all in a row.
none of them lame nor lazy, oh. They sang so sweet and so complete that this told the heart of a lady, oh. And they sang sweet and they sang shrill, fast her tears began to flow. She lay down.